nerdy. Think I'm just too white and nerdy. Can't you see I'm white and nerdy? Look at me, I'm white and nerdy.
Good evening, people. Frosty Knives here. And tonight we're going to do something different. We're not going to talk about Transformers. I'm going to show you another piece of my collection. It's a very small piece, but I like it anyway. Today we're going to talk about Thundercats. And I have some of the original Thundercats figures from back in the 80s, and they're not in terribly good shape, and they're missing most of their accessories, but I keep them around because in addition to Transformers, I was always a big Thundercats fan, and I like the Thundercats figures. So we'll start with this guy right here, and this is my Panthro figure. As you'll be able to see, all of these figures are beat up, and I don't have any of their weaponry, but you know, they're old, and they weren't mine as a child. I collected these over the years, and these were made by LJN Toys, 1985. I'm pretty sure LJN Toys made all of the Thundercats figures. But here is Panthro, and most of the Thundercats figures. I'm used to talking about Transformers. Most of the Thundercats figures had a switch, what they call an action switch, either sometimes on their sides or on their backs here. And when you'd pressed it, he would do that. You put his weapon in his hand, and he'd kind of move them all around and do the Harlem Shake. Do the Harlem Shake, Thundercat style. So, you know, that was a little action figure that they had, seeing as how these figures were very posable. You could move the head and move the legs back and forth, move the arms back and forth. And, you know, that was the extent of what these figures could do. So there is Panthro. Not too bad. And we'll throw him right over there. And we have next, we have Chitara right there. And she came with a bow staff, of which I don't have. And you could pose her arms here, but she was really designed to hold the staff. And when you pressed her back, she would power lift it. Power lift it. So that was Chitara. You know, these figures weren't completely accurate as to what the characters looked like on the show. They took a little liberty in how they designed the head sculpts and the body sculpts, but, you know, we liked them back in the day. Chitara. And then two kind of bewildering figures here. Look, I've got Wykit and Cat. And these weren't figures at all. These are basically statues. You cannot pose these figures, but they were sold as figures, and they came on these little bases, which, you know, I never understood why they came on these bases. You know, if they were trying to package them with their hoverboards that they flew around on, that's fine. But these aren't hoverboards. They just packaged them as little bases. So, you know, I thought they kind of lazy when they made these two figures. There's basically zero posability, and there's not a whole lot you can do with them. You can just, you know, place them around Cat's lair, and every once in a while take one of the mutants or something and knock them off, and they'd go flying. But so Kit and Cat, and never my favorite characters in the show anyway, so that's what we're going to do with them. Now, who else do we have down here? The Snowman of Hook Mountain. I kind of like this figure. It's got some heft to it. Snowman of Hook Mountain. And, you know, he's the one that used to ride that nice little snow cat, Snow Meow. And he always talked funny on the show. But he came, I think, with a helmet and a shield and a weapon. But none of my... Oh, there we go. There's his action. There's his action button. He'll just raise his fist and raise your fist to the sky. So there's Snowman of Hook Mountain. And, you know, these figures, they don't look too bad sitting on your shelf. And that's really what you want to do with them nowadays, is have them sitting on your shelf. So we're going to switch over to the bad guys because I'm all out of the good guys. And here's the big guy, Mumra, the ever living. And this is one I wish that I really wish that I had the accessories for, because he just looks like a dork without his helmet. Look at this really angry bald guy. I don't know why this really angry bald guy is staring at me. So, without his headdress, his iconic mumm-ra headdress, he just looks like an angry bald guy in a skirt. But again, here's his, he had his little action figure. Most of my action features on these figures, they don't move very well. So, Mumra, the ever living. Hair Club for Men, boys. That's all I gotta tell you. And there's Mumra as a mummy. This one is complete. This is all he came with. Came with this and his little staff. And all he could do is his arms can move up and down, and that's pretty much it. So there's Mumra, the ever living, with his staff. And here next we have Slythe, the leader of the mutants. This one doesn't really look like what he looked like on the show, but he kind of looks like a gremlin. Maybe this is like Stripe without his mohawk, but they actually disguised his action lever as part of his scales, so it not obvious that he's got a switch sticking out of his back. I can't get anywhere with these little tiny hands. So there's Slythe. And I have all of them except for Vulture Man. And I have Monkeyin, who, he looks not quite like what he did on the show. But here's his his action lever is actually frozen. So his arms won't move up and down when I press the button, because the button's actually frozen in place. Monkeyin. And Jackal Man, the hyena of the group. And it sounds like the springs on Jackal Man is broken, huh? Nothing going on there. So there's Jackal Man. Again, doesn't quite look like what he did. I think the only mutant that actually sort of looked like what he did on the show is Vulture Man, and I don't have Vulture Man. So there's Jackal Man. You notice I'm just casually throwing them on the floor. I don't hold them as much regard as I do my Transformers. Tuska Warrior. Walrus Man. I don't think they could call it Walrus Man because George Lucas had a lock on that name for Star Wars. So Tuska Warrior. But really, his action figure move is really nice. But he's a Walrus Man, is the Tuska Warrior. So he's not too bad. And then I've got two left. I have to put them on the floor. Hachi Man. There was Hachi Man, the samurai. His action lever is on his waist because when you push it, he pivots to and fro. I could get all these figures in a line and I can have them all doing the Harlem Shake. Look at that. So he used to have a big katana that he came with, and he would do a side swipe, and that's why he has his action moves on the side. And finally, the last one that I have, Rotaro. Minus his tail. Look, he's just got a hole in his butt. So Rotaro, the captain of the Rat Star. There he is. And his action move kind of works too. And there's Rotaro. So, those are all the ones that I have for Thundercats. Not too bad, a couple of little things here and there. I was going to get rid of them at one point, but I like them. They make sort of good statues standing on the wall, on my shelves. It's not something I actively go out collect, but if I happen to be out and about at a flea market or a yard sale or something, and I happen to see a bunch of Thundercats going for a decent price, I mean, usually people are selling these guys for 50 cents because either A, they don't know what they have, A, or B, they just want to get rid of them because they think they're lame. And you know, in the world of action figures, they're kind of lame. So I can usually scoop them up for 50 cents, a quarter, here and there, and I pick them up and I stick them on the shelf next to my other doodads, and so I don't really go out of the way for them, but yeah, I'll add them to my collection when I see them. Well, that's ramp down the Thundercats. So until next time, subscribe, hit like. You never know what's going to come out of my mouth and what you're going to see on this screen. Have a good night.
Found a job in a great big office, and I really love this place. I got my very own Scotch tape dispenser, and I got a private parking space. Ha! And I got a coffee mug with my name right on it, in big bold letters, so everyone knows it's mine. Don't even touch it, cause it doesn't belong to you. And I'm watching you, so don't get funny. I'm climbing up off the corporate ladder. Watch out, it's dog eat dog. Nose against the grindstone, it feels alright. Watch out, this dog eat dog. Here we go. I love to watch my boss get angry, so I can count the veins in his neck. Ha! Every day is like a picnic. Every Friday get a check. Well, do I smell jelly donuts? This is my lucky day. I'll have some coffee with a carcinogenic sweetener. Hold on a minute. Just one more jelly donut. They'll never miss it.